Samus takes aim at the charging Chizik with her blaster and fires. The energy bolt hits the Chizik in the chest, sending it flying backwards with a huge hole smashed through its chest. You see an opportunity to strike, and take it. You quickly rush forward, firing your wrist cannon at the wounded beast. The blast hits the wounded Chizik in the side, sending it flying into a wall. You turn around just in time to fire another blast at the charging Quetzalcoatl, and you hit it in the side as well. The energy cannon bolt and the bolts fired from your wrist cannon burn through its skin, muscles and internal organs, turning the beast into a smoking, bleeding husk. The Quetzalcoatl screeches in pain as it collapses into a heap, and quickly fades away. Samus turns to you, and smiles. "Nice work, soldier," she says. "We should continue." You quickly follow her, and keep up with the woman as she strides quickly ahead. "I thought the beasts were faster than this," you object. "Beasts aren't humans." "I know. But those things seemed stronger than the ones back on the ship." "These are beasts of the jungle, not of the starship. The ones further out in space are more civilized. Don't you remember anything about your homeworld?" "I don't remember much," you admit. "I don't think I was ever actually born there. I was cryogenically frozen, and when I was unfrozen, all I had was an amnestic to stop me from remembering anything." "So, you don't remember your homeworld?" "No," you reply. "How sad. This planet is your land, Robin. Think of it as your new home." You start to walk along, just following Samus deeper into the jungle. You soon come to a clearing, where a large tent has been erected. "Welcome to our home base," Samus says. "This is where we will be living while we conduct our search for the greatest treasures in the ancient ruins. You're more than welcome to join us for supper, as we are more or less short on supplies." "What happens if we find what you're looking for?" you ask. "Then we'll return to the ship and bring back all the supplies we can spare. And we'll share them with all the people of the planet. They need things, after all. I know you humans have it easier than most, but we're not immune to want. Even the strongest of us can go a year without food, a month without water, and a day without shelter. If you help us spread the word, we'll all be able to live better. Now, come on. We're having supper." You follow them into the tent. Inside the large, air-conditioned tent, you see. Well, it's sort of a mess. There are various small items, scattered haphazardly. And there are 3 unoccupied seats at the table. The floor space in the room is basically empty, except for a large sack of supplies that sits there. The trio at the table are clearly military men. The third man is a young, dark-skinned man with a large scar going vertically just left of his mouth. He has large, round glasses, and is reading a datapad. Sit down, the man says. Waving you in. Eat. You pick a seat, and the trio at the table talk amongst themselves. The dark-skinned man is called Nand, and he's the leader of the group. The woman sitting next to him is called Maaz, and she has long black hair that's dyed gold at the tips. Next to Maaz, you see the soldier you fought the Quetzalcoatl with. He's called Quetzali, and he has a long ponytail. The third man is called Pila, and he has a large axe on a strap around his neck. After they finish their meal, the leader tells you, "We need to go, now. The Quetzalcoatl will awaken soon, and we need to be far away from here." You stand up, and follow them outside. You see the young man slip behind a thick bush, and quickly get into a crouching position. "He's coming," he whispers loudly. "Where?" you ask. "There," he says, pointing. You look, and see a tall, slender man in the distance. "Is that the one?" Maaz asks. "Yes," Nand replies. Nand pulls out a small device and presses a button. A thin beam of green light flies through the air, and whizzes past the approaching Quetzalcoatl. The light hits the monster, and it begins to glow brightly for a brief moment. A horrible, screeching howl erupts from the beast, and it begins to advance. "What is that?" you ask. Nand looks at you and shrugs. He then takes a seat on a small motorbike, and revs its engine. The beast continues to advance, and you need to decide what to do. You can run and try to escape the beast, or you can stay and fight. I'm sorry, but what is that? Never mind, Nand says. The trio reverent their engines, and zoom off into the distance. The Quetzalcoatl roars, and the trio take off at a much faster speed. They drive for what seems like hours, and you see nothing but jungle all around you. The Quetzalcoatl begins to slow down. And soon it roars right beside you. "I know whence you come," the beast says. "I am called Quetzali. I know. I am called Quetzalcoatl. What do you want?" "I am the guardian of the gates of the underworld," the beast says. "You're not the guardian of anything. You're a monster," you retort. "You are a fool. Perhaps I will tear you limb from limb and feast on your beating heart. Try it and see what happens," you taunt. The beast roars out a challenge, and charges. You dodge. And the beast goes flying off into the jungle. "See what happens?" you ask. Nand slows down a bit, and shrugs. "We could have avoided that," you say. "He's not himself yet," Nand says. "Yet?" you ask. "He has less than a handful of those abominations left. They've nearly all been slain," Nand tells you. "But that will never happen with you standing by," Maaz says. Nand chuckles darkly. "Let's not get carried away," he says. "I need to keep him around for a while longer. He still has much to learn. I still don't see why we need to go through all this," you say. Nand pauses. Then looks at Maaz. "I need to show you something," he tells her. Nand pulls the datapad he was reading on, and turns to a page. "Look at this," he says. You look at the screen. And see a graph of something. This is an analysis of the beast's call. "The beast's call?" you ask. "The howl we gave out earlier," Nand says. "Oh," you say. "It's an analysis of what happens when we unleash the beast, and what we can expect from it." Nand taps a spot on the screen, and the graph zooms in on a single point. "Do you see that?" Nand asks. "Yes," you say. "That's where the gate of the underworld is located." "What's on the other side?" you ask. "That," Nand says, pointing, "is the realm of the dead." "Can we go there?" you ask. Nand nods solemnly. "I'm afraid I can't allow you to go there by yourself," Nand says. "Why not?" you ask, annoyed. "Because," Nand says, "if you go, you may never return." "That's not an excuse," you say. "No, it's not," Nand says. "But it is a reason." Maaz walks up to you and Nand, and they speak privately. "We need to keep him around for a bit longer. He still has much to learn," Nand tells her. "Fine," Maaz says. "But after that, I want him dead." Nand nods. You drive through the jungle for hours. Your group is asleep most of the time. It is a long, quiet drive until you see a small clearing, with a single, large tree. The tree has small, round fruits that hang from its branches. "This is as close as we'll get. Why isn't this the gate of the underworld?" you ask. "Because I don't believe in gates," Nand says. You walk around the tree and find yourself in a small clearing. The clearing is circular, with 3 other trees in the center, forming a triangle. You spot a staircase of stone that spirals down into the ground, with a round opening at the bottom. The opening leads to a cave that's partially filled with water. In the middle of the triangle, you spot a pedestal, with a statue on it. The statue is that of a bird, with a snake wrapped around its body. The bird has its wings spread out, and the snake winds around the bird's neck. "Is that a bird?" You ask. It's a chameleon. That's Chiyoko. You turn to Nand and ask, so, this is the chameleon? Yes, Nand says. You must be the first person in history to ask that question. I take it this is the entrance to the underworld? Yes. So what's the story with this place? It looks old. It is, Nand says. How'd it get that way? The chameleon says it's old. Long story, Nand says. Let's hear it, anyway. Nand sighs, and begins to tell you the story of the chameleon. You decide that you don't really care. You're standing on top of the Tower of Terror. A lightning bolt came flying out of the sky and struck the tower, propelling it into the air. You're in the middle of the tower, and the only way to go is down. The stairs are far away, and there's a drop of at least 50 feet to the hard ground below. What will you do? You jump. You land on the stairs, and keep your footing. You look up. The staircase is still intact, and nothing but air appears to be falling toward you. You look down. The stairs end, and open into a room. The room has 2 doors, one at the top of the stairs and one in the wall. The door in the wall is closed. Do you go through the door in the wall or the top of the stairs? You go through the top of the stairs. You're in a jail cell. Your legs are shackled to the floor. And your wrists are shackled to the wall. You manage to pull off the chains, but the door is too strong. The chains won't break it, even with all of your might. You look at the door. It opens. As the prisoner gets up, you rush toward the door, and yell, "Get out of here! Let me out, you fucking bastard!" The man just stands there, staring at you. Eventually, the man walks over to you and whispers in your ear, "This is a bad time. Please leave. Let me out of here," you yell. "I can't. Let me out of here, or I'll..." "Stop threatening me," the man yells. "Just go. If you don't, I'll call the guards." "Call the guards, you bastard," you yell. "I'll..." "Stop yelling." You sigh, and walk away from the door. You keep walking, looking at your cell. The door shuts and locks. You look around the jail cell. There's nothing in here but you and the man. Where do you go from here? You go to the jailer's cell. You're in the jailer's cell. The jailer stands at the far end, looking at you. "You can't escape," the jailer says. "This cell is airtight. What are you doing in here?" "I'm a jailer. It's my job. Jailers don't have any work to do. This one does." "What does a jailer do?" "I keep the prison safe." "You're a prison guard?" "Yes." "So why aren't you on the wall, then?" "That's what you're for. I'm trained to be a jailer, not a soldier. I could never make it up the wall." "It sure looks like you could. I could get on the wall if you gave me a chance." "What's the matter? Can't you make it up the wall?" "No." "Well, you're in luck. I happen to have a key that'll open this cell." "Really? How did you come by that?" "I stole it." "You'll have to steal your own key. Since I don't plan on sharing." "You're not going to. I'll stab you to death in your sleep." "Fair enough," you say. The jailer smiles. "Now, let's get down to business. I need you to open the vault." "Open the vault?" "Yeah. Open it. Quickly." So you open the vault. The door opens, and you pull out the tray. The tray contains 3 keys, each one engraved with a different color. Here, 1 red, 1 green, and 1 blue, just like our jail uniforms. You look at the tray. Put the tray back. And this piece of shit will blow your head clean off. "I can't do it." "But..." The jailer pulls out a shiv, and runs it straight through your gut. You let out a blood-tinged sigh. And drop the tray. The jailer picks up the tray, and takes the shiv out of your gut. He then throws the shiv to the ground. "Now pick up the tray, and get the hell out of here." The shiv lies there, sticking out of your gut. Pick it up. Do it. You walk over to the tray, and pick it up. "I can't." "I..." "Gag him if you have to." Just get out of here. You stuff in a rag. And then put a noose around his neck. You drag him out of the cell. You go to the gallows. You're at the gallows. You stare at the noose. Do you swing from the gallows? You swing from the gallows. You wake up. You're in your bed. The sun is shining through your window. What time is it? You stare at your alarm clock. It says 7:30. You stretch, and get up. You get washed and dressed. And come back to your room. You sit down at your desk. You stare at your computer. Facebook. Annie's page. You tap on it. What are you doing? Annie asks. Facebooking. Annie walks over to your computer, and looks at your screen. What's Facebook? Annie asks. You look up from your computer, and smile. Why do we have a social life if you don't even know what it is? That's not fair. I'm a teenager. I don't have a social life. You're an odd one. Why? What's so odd about me? You're a human being, and you're on Facebook. I like it.